Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reality Wind Down Unfiltered, a podcast where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. I'm Chase.
I'm Cassidy.
And guys,
No, you go ahead. I was gonna try to start it because it always like pauses and I'm like, should I keep talking after I introduce myself, or do I like throw it back to you because I don't want you to feel like you have to? But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm gonna let you kick it off for us.
I mean, I think you're gonna be excited about what I was gonna say. I just said I have the biggest breaking news. Y'all are gonna be shook, shocked, gooped, everything.
Bamboozled,
Biminied, bonboulashed, everything.
What? Tell me.
The potatoes are coming back at Taco Bell.
Okay, guys, I did know this. We've literally been talking about this. I created like a sauce packet, like like the Taco Bell hot sauce packet, and like put like on there, should Chase and Cassidy have it? Because y'all know we've been doing keto. Like, I am so ready for this. Before we record our podcast this week, the next episode, we are going to tear it up.
Treat ourselves to some Taco Bell on Thursday, which is release date for the potatoes.
Whatever those
opening day.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
They're dropping Thursday, and we're there to pick them right back up. Catch them, if you will say.
Be there. Oh, I'm so excited.
So I'm
dreaming about the day.
Not Bravo related, but it's related to our lives, and it had to have been said. It had to be said.
I think I saw that the number one fast food choice of like Bravo fans, and this is not a lie, like one of the Bravo accounts said this, like they've done a poll or something, is Taco Bell. Like that's what the Bravo fans love, and we agree.
Wholeheartedly, we agree.
Yeah, I am very excited for that.
So
that'll be a good day.
I apologize I had to cut you off. I jumped on your lines, but you know what?
Never apologize for a potato, baby.
There you go. So I'll let you carry us into the Bravo-verse.
Yes, we have a couple hot takes this week. We'll start with the more positive. Ashley Darby had her baby, so congratulations to her on her second little baby. We don't know the name yet, but just wanted to send a congratulations to her. And on a much darker note, we found out that Katherine Dennis from Southern Charm has lost custody of her two children. I think she had joint custody before, but now she just has like supervised visits on the weekend. So I don't know, like it's all being sealed like behind closed doors. Like no one knows the reason for what's going on.
And didn't it say he's like planning on like moving out of Charleston or something? And
he's
to take the kids with him.
He's moving to a different part of South Carolina, and I meant to look on a map how far it was from Charleston, but I never got around to it.
Get it? How? Like, I mean, yes, we all know Catherine's crazy, but Thomas is crazy too. So I feel like they're both crazies. Keep them at like the same level. So
right.
From there, how is he better than her? That's why
I don't know if it's like money and like power that he has. And like,
I think it's power.
Kids. Because like she doesn't seem like she's like super down about it right now. I'm sure she is, but like she's still posting on Instagram, kind of like keeping up appearances. So I feel like it's probably something behind the scenes, like with his. I mean, he's just the worst. I mean, Catherine's not great, but he is the absolute worst. So
that's why it's just shocking. It's like, how is he the better parent? Like, I obviously think like ideally it should be the joint, like 50-50.
For sure,
he should have both. But it's like, how when they're battling is he the better option?
One on
I
top.
don't understand at all.
I don't know.
So like, I need to know more about this because it's shocking that he is the one that gets custody.
I'm sure everything always comes out. I'm sure we'll find out like what's happening, and we will get to the bottom of this as soon as we know more. But moving on, I decided that Chase proclaimed last week that if it was a food-related Bravo game, that he would absolutely crush it, no questions asked, okay? So y'all heard this right here last week, right?
Don't roll the tapes back.
Roll them back. We're going to roll those tapes back, okay? Because he said it. I am fully expecting, I have come with a game of Bravo Eats this week, and I'm fully expecting him to get every single one of these right. Fully redeem himself.
I hope so.
No pressure, but
no,
all the pressure.
All.
Okay, are you ready for number one? I want to jump right into this.
I am. I'm ready.
All right. Who ordered, like verbatim, this is what they said.
Okay.
Burger with no cheese, no bun, no onion, and add extra bacon. She is from the West Coast, I'll tell you that.
She's from the
She's from
West
Orange County.
Coast.
She's from Orange
Okay.
County.
Probably Shannon.
Well, all that confidence for no reason. It was Heather Dubrow. X that one
That's
out.
hard.
I know,
Actually.
but I actually found a thing, and I've like thrown a couple other ones, but I found a thing that Andy had done on his like Fast Five whenever he was doing that at the end of Watch What Happened Live episodes, and it was like the craziest like housewife orders in like his opinion. So it was funny.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
I
I
like
found
that.
some of those, and that's also where this next one is from. Okay,
Okay.
this was his number one.
Okay.
All right, 1 dozen oysters just for myself.
Oh, that's Ramona.
Yeah,
that's Ramona. I knew that because I was like,
so
she's
proud.
Sitting at the bar, and she's like, and then she starts slurping them down, and something I'll never forget. I'll never forget that
because it's an aphrodisiac, right? Yeah. Oh like, my god, I'm very proud. I am beyond proud of you. Okay, that's
I'm happy that was at least his number one question. I got that right.
Yeah, that's because I like read it and I was like, oh, it makes sense that it was Ramona, but I don't know if I would have known like right off the bat like you did. So I am impressed. Okay. Who famously ordered a lobster Pop-Tart and kept saying it over and over and over again on the episode?
A lobster Pop-Tart?
It was in Miami. She kept saying, I get the lobster Pop-Tart, the lobster Pop-Tart.
They were in, I'm guessing, it wasn't a Miami housewife, was it? Or they were just visiting Miami?
They were visiting Miami.
I got a lobster Pop-Tart, I got a lobster Pop-Tart. Someone that would repeat themselves that many times would be Sonia, but it's not her.
Going off my facial expression. It's like, definitely Sonia, and I'm like,
like those are her actions.
But that's not my guess.
Yeah, that were her actions, but it wasn't not my her. Guess. Then since it wasn't Ramona, was it Luann?
No, it was Bethany. She always orders for the group. You know, when they went to that Barton G's restaurant?
She's very proud of herself and her ordering for the group. Eye roll.
And that was at that Barton G's that time when she was extra annoying about it the entire time. I ordered this, the lobster Pop-Tart. She kept saying it over and over again. That was kind of a hard one, so I just want to throw it in.
This actually leads me to, this wasn't a hot topic or a hot take, but Bethany's tweet about Meghan Markle. Can Bethany just shut the fuck up sometimes? Like, seriously.
She can't not make things about herself. Like, she has to involve herself in everything.
Yes.
Even that. Like, I'm like, how self-centered are you that that's what you're doing right now?
It was just obviously very unnecessary, but it's so, like, she just wants attention. Bethany's so desperate for attention. And I saw someone tweet, which kind of, like, nailed it on the head perfectly. It's like, okay, Bethany, just say you want to be back on the Real Housewives of New York. Like, we all get it.
Oh, and I was like, God.
Damn, because Bethany truly thinks she like exists outside of the Housewives universe, and she does. She's had her few little things, but
yeah,
she is a New York housewife, and that's what she's known for, and that's what she's best at. So
that's the problem when you think you get too big for it. And it's amazing all the stuff that she's done with like humanitarian work and like raising so much money for different things. Like that should be like your avenue. Then you should keep doing things like that, but stop getting involved in other stuff with like the stuff with Meghan and Harry whenever it's something so serious and so awful. And she's
like
just
that was like
the worst,
breaking and history making for them to stand up to the historical patriarchy and kind of bringing it down in a sense. And then Bethany's
single-handedly bringing down the monarchy.
And Bethany's like, I'm like, okay, Bethany.
Making it about herself.
Wrong attention. Okay, well, at least you brought us to that segue. I appreciate that.
I did. I meant to mention that on Hot Takes too. It got looked over, unfortunately, because that was very important. Okay. Who ordered thick cut bacon for some thick cut sisters?
Some cut bacon.
That one was so good. That was also on Andy's list. I think it was number 5.
Okay, at least give me like the city. Atlanta.
Yeah.
I feel like the only one that like loves food so much is Candy.
I mean, I feel like when I tell you who it is, you're gonna be able to see them saying it. It's Phaedra.
Oh, I can't.
Phaedra with her quips, and she's so good. Yeah, I was like, I could totally see Phaedra saying
I
that.
can see
It's
that. But I
funny.
just always like think because Candy's always the one that makes me laugh because she's always so
Yes.
obsessed with food and has like no shame ever being like, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat, I'm gonna eat on
Yes.
camera. Like no problems at all.
100%. If it had not been the crab cake episode so recent, I would have definitely made that a question. But I know that you would have gotten it
I
way
mean,
too
because
easily.
those were my
Those
examples the
are
other
literally
day.
whenever you came up with it. I was like, that'll be like a throwback one when we play this game in 2 years.
Wait, I
Okay.
have one for you.
Oh,
I have one for you.
tell me.
Um, what cuisine? Oh shit, now I forget who it was, but I think I know the
I love
person.
this question.
I think I know. Actually, I do. Okay, I do.
Okay.
Here, what cuisine did Ramona take from someone's house after being there for only 30 minutes?
They took the lobsters.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. There were, and I think it was Sonia in her interview that said like, "I never leave a good lobster behind" or something like that. She's like, "It's just not who I am." I was like, "Yes,
Yeah. They
yeah,
show up 30 minutes, pack a to-go bag of lobsters, and walk on out.
100% iconic. Would do the same." Okay, your last one. Are you ready?
Okay, yes.
Who ordered eggs? So she said, "I'm gonna order some eggs," and the waitress said back, "There, this meal comes with 3 eggs."
Oh, I
How do
already
you
know. It's
how do you want them
Carol
cooked?
Radziwill.
Yes, and what does she say?
I'm
Three
pretty sure
hard-boiled eggs are too many. I only want 2 hard-boiled eggs. I thought that was hilarious.
they're
She's like,
like, but
3
it's
are a
an
bit
order
much.
of three. Just like
Yeah,
pick your eggs.
but 3 is too many
And then
hard-boiled.
I think
Like,
she said something about like she doesn't like her eggs to touch or something. So
I
like,
think it was something weird like that. It was when she was eating with Tinsley. It was
mhm.
chaotic, but I am so proud of you, Chase. You got 2 right.
Those
And
were
you came
hard, but
back at me with a question.
I want to do that again. That was actually it was hard, but it was like entertaining, and it's like it's funny to like think back
Yes,
on the things because those are the smallest things in an episode that no one really like usually clicks on.
100%.
So it's funny to like
100%.
rethink of that because I'm like that egg thing. I don't know
I
why that
love that
immediately
you
jumped.
remembered that because
Yeah,
I didn't even really remember that. So like that's so
it's the
impressive.
randomest stuff that like you think about.
Well,
like, uh,
bonus question, I'll give you the victory for
oh,
the whole thing. I know
okay.
you're going to get it right. So we are throwing this one. Who makes eggs a la francais?
Luann de Lesseps.
Chase, we're giving you the win
Here
today,
I am,
baby.
guys. I can finally take a bow.
Victory.
I've been
He
waiting to
said
bow.
it. He said he would win if it was about food, and he did.
Hey, I
So
will say
kudos.
my answers that I did get right, I was the most confident in than I think
Oh,
any other question I've ever answered before. So,
without a doubt, your confidence was incredible. So I'm very proud of you.
oh, love it.
Um, Speaking of loving it, should we jump into this week's? We didn't mention, sorry guys, earlier what we'd be talking about on this podcast, but we were doing Atlanta and Dallas this week. So
Yes.
I think we're gonna kick things off with a bit of Atlanta.
Yeah, let's go. Let's jump right into it.
You're down. I thought it was so funny that Portia's mom said that she brought 4 strippers to her aunt's bachelorette party. I was like, go on,
That
Miss
was
Diane, I see
so
it.
good. Yeah, she's like, Portia, I'll one up your stripper
Yes.
with four. So
Do it better. Just like
your mom
mother,
did
like
it
daughter, but
better.
I'm gonna do it better. Amazing.
But of
Bes-
course, at the
I
beginning of the
know.
episode, Cynthia has to talk about her wedding that's coming up in 4 days. And she just has this whole thing throughout the entire episode of like, why is everything going wrong? I can't believe it. I'm like,
This damn
Cynthia,
wedding.
you're having a wedding in the middle of a pandemic. What do you expect? It's
I know,
not going
like
to
she
go
was
right.
genuinely so pissed that her mom's dress wasn't gonna be there on time. It's like you are getting married in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Stop being so selfish. Like that's what you're worried about. Like I just it was blowing my mind.
It,
Not
it,
surprised, but still blowing my mind.
yeah, because I mean, we've been waiting for this to come, but it was just like the fact that it's getting closer and closer, and like things are going wrong. But the fact that she's not like, okay, they're going wrong, and I have to like understand because it's a pandemic. She's like, why is everything going wrong? Like this is
She
my
even had a
wedding,
thing at
and
the
I'm
end
like,
of the
okay,
episode that said like shit that's gone wrong list. And it's like, yeah, because it's a pandemic. We
yeah,
also found out that Drew was going to be singing at the wedding, and
yeah.
Drew continues to sing throughout this entire episode. And it was a
I
lot for me.
I was just say I found it very annoying, but also it made me laugh a little bit because like when we get into the dinner, should we just get into that right now? The
Yeah,
dinner
I
with
think
Kenya
that's
and
yeah,
Drew.
100%.
So Kenya and Drew go to dinner, and it's a little bit heated. And whenever Drew feels like she's not being heard, she starts to just randomly sing. And it's annoying trait of like musical people to like automatically assume you care about their
Oh,
like
yeah,
talent.
just
But
exactly.
when it's like towards Kenya, it kind of made me laugh because Kenya didn't know what to do with it, honestly.
I mean, how do you react though? Like, I think it's because like Drew felt like Kenya was talking over her, but like
Yeah.
Kenya felt like Drew was talking over her, and let's be honest, they both were just talking over each other.
Yeah.
And Drew's reaction was just to start singing. And I was like, oh my God, if I was sat there and I was Kenya, I would have been so pissed off. I'm actually shocked at how well Kenya did handle it. She was
It
just like, okay.
really, yeah, like I just don't think she like had anything to say back. So she's like, I'm just gonna listen to this, I
Yes,
guess. But it's
that's
like really like it reminds me of like when you're somewhere. I don't know if this happens anymore because we don't really hang out with people who own guitars. But do you remember like when we're younger, or just like at
yes,
some point in your life, you're just sitting around and
yes.
everyone's having a good time. It's maybe we're drinking a little bit.
Mhm.
It's a merry energy. Great. Someone has to bring out the goddamn guitar and sing a song and
Yeah.
think that they're a guitar player, and it was giving me this energy. I was
That's what
like,
Luke on Summer House, remember? He kept doing that
well,
last
there you
season.
go.
And Hannah kept being like, oh my God, he's so hot. I'm so into him. But when
No,
he gets out that guitar, like it does not do anything for me. Upstairs, downstairs, any of my stairs. I'm
no
not feeling
stairs.
it. It
If
is,
anything, I shut down
no.
completely, and I'm like, no longer look at me. I'm over
Unless you're
you.
John Mayer hanging out with me, like I don't want to hear it. Like, sorry, sweaty. Like, no man. Um,
I can't.
I did think it was funny though. The one thing I took away, and I have to ask you because we do this all the time. Kenya said only broke bitches split checks whenever they went to close out at the end. And I was like,
No,
no, what are you talking about? Like,
I think it's
no.
fine. I think it was Kenya trying to do a power play or a power move, and Drew was like, "No, you're not pulling that on me. We're splitting it. We came here. We don't like each other. Let's split the goddamn check."
I do love how shady the producers were there to put the total on the check. It was like
And
$22 and like $31. I was like, okay, like I guess like it would have been
but
that
I
big of a
I
deal.
didn't
I
understand
know.
Kenya's like point behind that. I think like in general, like if you're going out with someone, especially if you don't know them, or even if you do know them really well, like we do,
Yeah.
it's like why not just split it? Like who cares? It's easier.
Exactly.
Everyone like gets a part of it, and then you move on.
Yeah, I agree. Even it's just like down the middle. Like I think the 20 and the 30 was a bit much,
Yeah, that
but
was
you know,
much. I was like,
it was still funny.
yeah, we'll usually just split it down the middle, and it's like, I mean, we all ate and we all drank, so it is what it
Exactly.
is. But pretty much
Exactly.
nothing came out of the dinner besides that they just don't really like each other and don't really aren't on the same page, but they don't hate each other either. It wasn't like super
It just
dramatic,
felt like on a
but
merry-go-round. They kept going like
yeah,
round and round in circles. And even when like, because I think like a few of the points that came out of it was Drew she wanted to feel heard
yeah,
that she wished she could have brought her daughter. And like Kenya was like, okay, like heard you, moving on. I don't want to keep going on about this. Then she was like, no, but I need you to say you understand that. And like she's like, well, I'm saying your feelings are valid, but you have a husband at home and stuff. So like I didn't think it was as big of a deal for you to
yeah.
not bring your daughter for like 2 nights.
But it could have been so easy for Kenya to just be like, "Hey, I get what you're feeling. I just did it because I don't have the support system. It wasn't like
Right.
a slight at you or any of the other girls. I should have
Right.
maybe rethought it. Let's move on." But Kenya can't do that, and that's what's sometimes
No.
frustrating. Because I actually appreciated that Drew kept kind of like saying it because Drew didn't back down, and I don't think a lot of people stand up to Kenya often. And this wasn't a huge stand up, but it definitely was like
Right.
Drew's not gonna back down to really anyone,
No.
I don't think.
At the
And
beginning
I
of the
like that.
season, I didn't think Drew was gonna be like that at all, but she's
Me
definitely
either.
come in way stronger second half of the season. Like
And
the
it's
first half,
kind
I
of
was like, yeah,
and it's kind of like she does it casually. Like it's not like it's not like she's not angry and she's
right,
not being rude. She's kind of just like, "No, I'm gonna tell you what I think, and I want you to hear me, and
yeah,
I hope that you give me the time of day." Because a
I
lot of
can.
people, get like a little bit more meek, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna just say it." And I'm
Well, I
like,
think you
"Okay,
either get meek with Kenya or you get pissed off, and like
yes,
on the flip side of when Portia like went at her because she was
hmm
poking and prodding her over and
yeah,
over. So you either get one or two reactions. But
hmm
I agree. Drew's definitely stayed like pretty level headed when it comes to
yeah,"
Kenya.
and just like
Um,
has kind of stood her ground, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, and the next scene they go to a hayride. What did you think of this hayride?
The Marlow Harvest Party.
The
I like
Marlow
how like
Harvest
she
Party.
has to like name it something. It's like, girl, you're under a tent on this like random
Dripping
pumpkin
in
farm.
Chanel
Like, calm down.
on this pumpkin farm with like some
Yeah.
creepy scarecrows and a whole thing. I mean, their outfits just killed me out there. I was like, guys, you are literally like on a pumpkin farm.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like
what are you doing?
relax. But I did actually really like Drew's outfit. And I liked her like light colored, like kind of like pinkish blonde hair.
Oh yeah, yeah. She had a very like
I thought she
fall
looked great.
vibe, like a leather
Yeah.
long dress.
It like matched the pumpkins. It was like a
Yes.
burnt orange, like kind of leather, patent leather dress. And she had, I think it was like a really, really light pink or maybe just like a
I
whitish
think it was
blonde.
white.
Okay.
The
But
wig.
either
Yeah,
way, I
I
really
liked
liked
it.
it. And she looked
I loved it
great.
too. But the thing that comes out whenever they were all getting to the hayride is this article about Bolo and Bolo Gate stripper night has
Page
leaked to
six
page
strikes
six.
again.
Page six, Ramona Singer leaked it to the press. That was my first. Anytime I
Totally.
see page six, I'm like, God, Ramona's at it again.
Somehow one of the girls from Atlanta told her, she's like, "Oh, I got you. Oh,
No,
call up."
Kenya wanted it to leak, so she called Ramona immediately. Ramona, I need you to talk to your people and get this out right now. But Candy is pissed. Candy's
Yeah,
like, this is so annoying because people started commenting immediately. Is it Todd and Candy that got
yeah.
out with him? Is it Candy and Latoya? Is it Candy and Portia? And she's genuinely pissed, and they all think it's Kenya. Let's just call it what it is. Every
Oh,
single one of
I
them
mean,
thinks it's Kenya.
Kenya even said like it was kind of like a throwaway like comment, but Kenya said if it was like B Scott or TMZ, maybe I would have done it.
Right.
Wait, so that's your defense?
Yeah. The
That's a lot.
no.
That was a lot like Tanya's defense. It's like I was in Portia's room, but like for
I
snacks.
went there for snacks, which by the way, how did we miss that? How did we miss her at
I
that dinner saying I went for snacks at 5 a.m.? We would have been like, okay,
I
well, we
heard
know it
that.
was you then.
No, I thought I was supposed to say, oh, it wasn't you because that's relatable. I would go to anyone's room for snacks.
You were like, goldfish? Are there Doritos in there on my
Yeah.
way?
I walk in and there's like Bolo sitting there. I was like, oh, no, no, no. I was here for the goldfish. No, no,
I'm
no,
not after this kind of sausage. I came for little sausage dicks. Like, I'm not here for this.
I'm here for a Slim Jim, not a large
No,
Bolo.
not a large bolo. Oh my god. I
But
can't.
yeah, I was just like,
Ah, I can't.
okay, but that just means you're guilty, Kenya, to me. Because I was like, if you're saying you're willing to do it to other people, but not page six, I'm like, what does that even mean?
Especially because like
Not the
her
thing.
defense also in her interviews is like, I do believe that someone from like at the party told a friend and then that friend leaked it. I'm like, girl, you tell us what you did? Like, is
Yeah,
that exactly what you
exactly.
did?
She's like, this was a chain of events that could have happened from somebody else. Wink,
Let's
wink.
just say you might see this on a camera in the next few months whenever the season premieres. You didn't get it from me. But I love that Latoya walked up and she was like, Kenya, did you leak it? Like she was real quick to just
Yeah,
jump in there. I was like, oh, she like is a friend that wants to try to like hold her friend accountable or like hold her feet to the fire. I mean, of course she denies it, but it was nice to
yeah.
see Latoya come in with that energy.
I know. I'm surprised getting to get mad because it's kind of. It was a little bit like more like uh, a casual and fun way that Latoya did this time. But remember at the dinner last episode,
Right.
Kenya was so mad because Latoya called her out. So it's interesting that she didn't get so mad this time.
But it's still weird, even though she was mad at her the last time, she wasn't mad like Kenya mad. Like she
That's
was just
true.
like, so it just shows how much she really like does like
Hmm.
Latoya or really gets along with Latoya. I mean, I know she said she had a crush on her, but it definitely is a different energy than she brings to the other ladies,
Hmm.
for sure.
That's
But they
true.
FaceTime Cynthia because she couldn't make it because she's trying to find her wedding, whatever the hell she needs. And she says she's doing a post nuptial instead
Oh
of a
my god. I said I literally was like I wrote down and I was like I cannot believe Cynthia's not doing a prenup. Didn't she learn from her ex-husband? I even forgot his name.
Peter, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, Peter literally wasted like all of their money.
Yeah.
And she lost, I mean, she not lost. She completely forgot that that existed apparently because
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
what the hell?
Just
And it makes it weird that Mike is even more rushing this wedding to me.
ooh,
Like
that's a
he's like really
point.
speeding it up trying to get it, and I've said this before on it and I hope
Hmm.
I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong. But I always felt like he was really trying to like, all right, let's just keep. I don't care what 10-10-20 is the day we're doing. Like, I don't care what happens. I'm not postponing it. I want to marry you on that day.
Yeah.
Like, sir, calm down. We can wait till next July, like when people are vaccinated.
Yeah, and y'all can
Like,
actually get all of y'all's dresses and rings, and
mhm.
your bridesmaids can come to the wedding, etc., etc. Because those are all the things that are not
All
happening right
the
now.
12th, and maybe a hurricane won't be coming at that
Maybe
point
a
next year.
hurricane.
All the things on your shit list, like,
Exactly.
ugh, I can't. I'm just
Well, yeah, and it's just like so shocking because, again, learn from your past mistakes. But also, I never understand when even the man's coming in and he's like successful in his own way, himself.
yes.
So it's like, why don't y'all just both want it and keep y'all's assets separate from at least the beginning of your or before your marriage, and anything made together, you split. It's like, how
That's
is
the
that so
thing.
hard to write up into a contract? It's
Even
not
if
hard.
you're a person, like if you come in without the money and the other person has the money or whatever, it can still protect you if you're the one that doesn't have money
Yes,
too. It can
it
be like,
does.
look, if we're together, and I think Ashley Darby really played it right
Mm-hmm.
with Michael.
There you go.
Like she's like, if I stay with him for 5 years or like have a child with him or whatever, like I'm entitled to half of whatever he has. Like I get $10 million after these first 3 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is the kind of thing that you should put in place if you're the person without money.
It's a
But they both have
protection
money.
for
So I
all
mean,
parties. So
yeah,
it's just like,
exactly.
and it's like, and she kind of acts like, oh, like we didn't have time. I'm like, girl, you've been together forever. You've been planning this wedding forever.
All
That's
you've
a part
talked
of
about
planning the wedding.
forever. Also, do you ever think about on Vanderpump Rules with Katie and Tom when they went to try to get a prenup? Because I think about this moment all the time. And they go into the lawyer and they're like, we're looking to get a prenup. I think Schwartz wanted it more. He's like, we're looking to get a prenup, in case anything goes wrong. And the lawyer was like, well, what are your assets? And he was like, we have about $10,000 saved. And the lawyer was like, well, after this meeting, we meet 3 more times and getting the prenup actually drawn up. It'll cost about $3,000. Do you really want to do this for $7,000 left in the bank?
But
And
it's
I
so
think about that
true.
all the time. I was like, okay, like maybe they didn't need to do a prenup. Like, so I don't think they ended up doing it
See,
because they
my
didn't need
thought
to.
was like the reason I always kind of thought they did it was that Vanderpump told him to because she didn't want, if they ever got divorced, Katie to be. I don't know how California works, but if it's in like a community state, she would have
Uh,
got like part of his percentage of Tom Tom. So I wonder if like this was
oh,
all kind of Lisa pushing it, and it wasn't about like actual like assets because $10,000. What are you gonna do with that? But like his little bit of percentage in Tom Tom. That's what I
Lisa
always.
pulling those strings, it
I
would
think
not
it was.
surprise
It wouldn't
me.
surprise me either. So I always thought it was Lisa pushing that one out.
Ooh, that's a good theory. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Very interesting, Chase. Very interesting.
Mm.
But we didn't even mention at this hayride that Portia is not there. Portia is lost in the woods. Somebody go find Portia. Like she drove an hour. She was an hour north of it, or she was driving in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
I
Terrifying being out there alone.
I love the map, and it was like I was in Narnia, I was in this place, I was in that place. I went to
Yes.
like Atlantis.
I
It was
drove
like,
past Acapulco. Like it's
yeah,
like my
it was
GPS.
so
It kept
funny.
saying my GPS. I don't know where the hell this GPS is taking me. My GPS. I was like, oh my god, only Portia. It was killing me. And then she got there,
It,
was there for 5 minutes, like
I
just enough to
know.
catch up on the tea that have gone on with like the hayride.
I would have
I
been
was
like,
like,
I'm gonna turn around and I'll meet y'all for breakfast and catch or fill me in on what happened.
we can FaceTime later. Like I am exhausted. I've been
Yeah,
driving for 17 hours through 10 different states. Maybe she was
in
driving to
my
the
own
beach.
state.
Maybe she saw Florida drive. She saw Ralph driving to Florida. Like maybe that's where she
And she's
was
like, I know
going.
him. Let's go to Tampa.
Let's go, Tampa.
I
Oh
heard it
my
has a nice
god.
beach in Tampa.
I heard that we've got to drive past 3 others to get there, but it's beautiful.
That's
Oh
so
my
good.
god. But she gets caught up on the drama. Um and one of the interesting things, like cuz Marlo's always so like tough. She made a comment. She was like, "I feel like you guys like don't want to hang out with me anymore, or kind of like alienating me since I made up with Kenya." And Portia's like, "Well, no, Shamia's like my best friend. I haven't talked to her since we've been back from the trip. So I'm definitely not trying to alienate you. Like nobody's out doing anything." Which thought it was interesting to see Marlo already starting to feel that way. I wonder if it's going to be more of a theme throughout the season.
It definitely will because you can. I think in the trailer next week, like you start to see the divide between Marlo and Portia is getting bigger and bigger and
Right,
bigger.
right,
And obviously Kenya is a nice wedge in between them. But I think there's a few
right.
other things too, which is kind of what you're saying. It's like she feels left out, and Portia's not like whatever Portia's doing. I don't think she's doing anything, but Marlo's feeling a type of way. So it's definitely that's the seeds being planted for what's
Definitely.
to come for sure.
Ooh, it'll be interesting. But the episode ended up on obviously a really tough note with Kenya.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like I
It,
do
it
like
really is.
you could. I think during these times, like we like are harsh on Kenya a lot because Kenya's harsh on everybody.
Hmm.
But whenever she has a scene like this and she's like talking about like her childhood and her relationships and like
Yeah.
blah blah blah, it's like you can really see why she is the way she is and doesn't have a lot of relationships and has like a lot of walls up and is very
Yeah.
like combative is because she's protecting herself from like everybody, even when she
I
doesn't
mean, it
need to.
wasn't even 5 years ago on camera. She went and they showed that
They showed it.
scene when she went and knocked on her birth mother's door, and you like hear her lock the door and it's like, go away. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Even after all this time. Like, it's just, you can see how much it really plays on Kenya. And she even starts saying there's so many things similar between Mark and her mom, like the way they make her feel like she's
Bad,
in the wrong,
bad.
and yeah, just kind of like gaslight her and make her feel like she's done something wrong. So you do see where Kenya comes off with this like tough exterior and why she
Yeah.
does get so combative with people. So
On that note, though, earlier in the episode, she did have a FaceTime call with her dad, which I thought was pretty
mhm.
cute because like you can see that they're definitely like mending that relationship. It's obviously been a weird
Yeah,
one as
he's a bit
well.
chaotic, isn't he?
He is, but I think he like has like he's a bit chaotic, but he was like sweet to say that he was just like there for her. He's like, I love you, I miss you. And she got like you can see that she was like a little bit like giddy and like happy on the
Yeah.
phone call. So his chaotic energy was chaotic. But she liked
That's what
and they
it's
have a
just,
good
he had
relationship
her
he's building.
exactly. He had her so young, I think too, that they've worked
Yeah.
really hard to like kind of build something past, because it is, I think, difficult when you have a child when you're a teenager and
Mhm.
then like trying to navigate where to go from there as you're growing up yourself. So I think it
Yeah.
took him growing up a lot, and
But I
then,
did
obviously everything she's dealt with.
yeah, I just didn't like seeing that at least like earlier.
Yeah.
But the
But they're
ending was
good.
a little bit rough, but it did give us a light into why Kenya is the way she is.
Exactly. So I hope Kenya continues to go to therapy and,
Yeah.
figure things out within herself and, make her more positive and happier. And
Well, we'll
honestly,
see.
Mark's a douchebag, so shouldn't you be
I
with him
know.
anyways?
Don't even try to end
Like,
that relationship. Bye.
she's blessed to have gotten beautiful Brooklyn with him.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, co-parent, have a good relationship. Don't be married to that man.
Move on.
No thanks.
And on that note, we're moving on from Atlanta.
Nice
We're gonna
transition,
thank
Chase.
you. We're gonna jump into
Ooh.
Dallas.
Little bit of Dallas. So we pick up and we don't even get I love whenever we don't get like the opening taglines, as much as I love
Mm-hmm.
taglines, but I know it's gonna be like a dramatic moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get him to start this episode. And I mean, Brandy does say, like, I like you, I think you're great, because at the end of the episode, Tiffany had said, how do you feel about me? And like
Mm-hmm.
she only says positive things back to her, but she does still make it sound like that Tiffany's the problem. And I think Tiffany made a very
Yeah.
poignant statement when she said, if she sees me and it reminds her of the video, that's her problem. Like, I'm Asian. I'm not changing. Like, it's not going to change the fact that I'm
Yeah.
Asian. You have something within yourself that is a major problem.
And everyone is in agreement on this.
Yes.
Like everyone he like is saying like I don't understand what Brandy's doing right now. This makes no sense. It's like this is clearly Brandy's issue that is separate from Tiffany, but she thinks by telling this to Tiffany or saying this to Tiffany, it kind of like dissolves whatever Brandy's feeling a little bit. 'Cause it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not just me, it's both of us. It's like, no, girl, it's just you.
Literally,
Like
it's
Tiffany's
just
doing
you.
nothing, literally not doing anything, and I just sometimes I get annoyed. It's like, why couldn't have like because Deandra was really believing in like this whole like Brandy. This is all Brandy's problem. Like, leave Tiffany out of it. I don't know
Deandra
why.
and Stephanie.
So why didn't either of them say that at that dinner? Like
Exactly. Exactly. They waited until after, because they went, Carrie had the idea to like hold hands, jump in the lake. They all jump in the lake. We knew Tiffany didn't like water anyways, but that definitely is not why she got out crying. She got out because she just kind of hit her breaking point. She couldn't do anything right with these ladies.
yeah,
And
I
all
mean,
the other ladies are sitting around. Yeah, sorry.
well, I was saying she just realized like,
Yeah,
why am I doing things I don't want to do? This isn't me. And then like it all
exactly.
just comes crashing down. But continue. Sorry.
No, just the other ladies, like you were just saying, we're all sitting like outside together, like trying to figure out like what's wrong with Tiffany. And they're sitting there, Deandra and Deandra and Stephanie especially are saying. Like, I just think that, like, Brandy, you've got this issue, and it's kind of like Tiffany feels like she can't do anything right with you because of the issue you have within yourself. So, like you said, they should have sat there and they should have said that at the table, and all of this could have been hashed out much quicker.
Yeah, totally. And it was also like annoying because I think this is a housewife tendency, but like when one person's crying, they all follow and want to crowd the person. And Tiffany's like crying in her room, like kind of just being like, hey, like I don't want to talk about it. It's just like my own stuff. Like we'll talk later. And then one by one they walk in and I'm like, this is
Do you
so
need a hug?
uncomfortable. And I know
It's
this
like,
is like a
oh, just leave me
housewife
alone.
thing, and like I get why they're doing it because they need to move the story along, whatever. But it's just like sometimes just stop and be like, okay, I respect you. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I mean,
Which
she wasn't
they
there tomorrow.
finally well, yeah, exactly. But they did finally eventually do that when they saw, like, okay, like, she just wants to get rest, relax. But whenever they leave, Tiffany stands up and she's like doing the robot, and she's like, I just always feel like I'm robot Tiffany, and that's when people like me, that's when I make people happy, like whenever I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, and she opens up to Deandra because Deandra's her true friend about, like,
Mhm.
like, she
Yeah.
feels like she can actually trust her as opposed to all the other ladies that just come in and, like, it's like, camera time, we want to make sure you're okay and not look like bad
Exactly.
people.
It's such a
Ugh.
camera time moment.
And she said, like, Tiffany was just laying there and she was like, I just felt anxious, like, I have a big week coming up. Like, my parents with me were always like, what are you gonna buy me, like, how am I gonna, like, be looked after whenever you get older? Like, Deandra, did you ever feel that way? And I love when Deandra was like, no, they knew that they weren't gonna expect anything from me when I got older. I was like,
It's like,
honestly
Tiffany, don't you
amazing.
remember I was a groupie, a coke addict, and like didn't do
Sorry, a
anything?
groupie for what bands? Like Roach, Staple, Pepper. Like, we've never heard of any of those,
Lights. I
Deandra.
don't even
Lights. It's literally like what the band names are like. We're like, okay, okay. Like, you were their only groupie. Um, but the next
uh,
morning, like you said, Tiffany called a car and left. Like,
yeah.
3 hours before everyone else even woke up.
I'm so
And
bad. I was like, how much was that Uber? Like
I know,
back to
right? But I
Dallas.
feel like she probably has like because I feel like if I was that rich, like, I would just have like a private like car service like at my
How
disposal,
much is
because
that
she's
for car service?
right.
I mean, I love it. I would love one, but I'm always like thinking, I was like, God, how did she get back to Dallas? She should have just rode with Stephanie because Stephanie was leaving that early too.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. She should
Yeah.
have. She should have just jumped in with her.
But when you're rich, it doesn't really matter.
I'm like, and she probably wanted to be in her own space, and she didn't want to deal
Yeah.
with talking to anyone.
No, it totally makes sense. I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, woo, just
Ex-
imagine the casual, like being casual, getting your own private car
Casually
back to Dallas.
ordering an Uber from 3.5 hours away and
Yeah.
getting it back. Amazing. Um, but what else happened here?
I did
I
like
like
whenever they all get back to Dallas and Mama D and Deandra hang out. I did love that because Mama D was like so team Tiffany. Even like it was even
Mama
like a little
D.
shocking to like Deandra how much she was on team Tiffany.
Mama D is such an icon. Like from the second this whole scene started off, I know it's Deandra's dog, but Deandra's dog is named Dolly Parton. We have to mention that
Oh
really quick.
my god.
What a name.
I love
Iconic.
that. Yeah.
What an iconic name. But
Dolly
Mama
saving
D
us with
is
the vaccines.
praise be to Dolly.
Hmm.
Um, but Mama D is still paying for Deandra's life. We have to point that out. Like, because Deandra had caused this big ruckus the last few seasons. Like, I just need money for my trust. I just need this. I love the moment Dee gets in her interview and she's like, she wanted to send her dog to a boot camp for $1,000, paid for that. She wanted to go do this for $3,000, paid for that. I'm like, I love that Mama D can't just like do something nice for Deandra and not get
No.
credit for it. Like, she has to be like, just I paid for this and I did this.
If
But
anything,
she
that
was
would
hardcore.
I
Oh,
was saying,
sorry.
is anything that would motivate Deanna to start paying for herself, so her mom won't come after her ass every time she asks her for money.
I think Deandra just doesn't even give like a shit
I don't
anymore.
think. I
She's
think
just
at this
like
point it's a little too late. Deandra's too
too
far
far
deep.
gone.
Yeah.
Too far gone on that. But yeah, Mama D is team Tiffany, ride or die. Because Deandra's like, oh, we all have, stressful lives. Like all the other ladies, like we all have stressors. Mama D's like, no. No, 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 no. And that's not belittling someone else's like, life and stresses. But she literally is responsible for people living or dying. Like whenever she puts them under anesthesia and wakes them up. Like that is such a huge responsibility and stress. I cannot imagine.
Yeah. During coronavirus, while raising two young twins.
Twins and like let's just call it what it is, taking care of
And
her husband too. Raising her husband, like
yeah,
that's
but
what
also,
like
and
women have to do.
I do know that there's also, I believe it's his kids from a previous marriage, but there's also two older children as
Yeah,
well that
twins, I
are
think.
around. I think they're twins as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
they're
God.
also around
So
too. So that's like a lot of kids in the house that you're dealing with during coronavirus as being a
I
full-time
forgot
working
about
mom
that.
and a doctor. Like it's a lot going on. And
I
like you said, not
completely
to
forgot about
the
that.
little other girls and like, raising children is a full-time job. It's just
100%.
different.
Right,
Different
because she's
stresses.
doing it both. So exactly,
Yeah.
working full time is a stressor, and having kids is a stressor. Like put it together,
Yeah.
and an extremely stressful job. It is what it is.
Yeah. So I
But I
appreciated
love
Mama
that
D
Mama
saying
D
that.
said that everyone's jealous. Like they're jealous of like her money and her this and that. And Deandra's like, that's not it. Like you just like to resort back to everything's jealousy. Like, no, I do think when we talked about it last week that there's a little bit of jealousy, I think,
Hmm.
coming from Cam. And I don't know
Oh,
about the other
totally.
ladies, but definitely I get that vibe from Cam.
Yeah. I think there is a lot of jealousy, or at least like that's an underlying part of maybe a bigger thing. But
Uh-huh.
like I also did love because Mama D always kind of has to bring it back to herself. She was like, I mean, I've been doing this my entire life and everyone's jealous of me. So I understand jealousy when I see it.
I
Everyone's
know.
jealous of me.
I
Like,
love
of
it.
course they're jealous of you. She's like, I have money and people are jealous of my money. I'm like, we know you have money, Mama D. We know.
Almost 80 years old and the bitches are mad. The bitches still are jealous. Like, yes, ma'am.
I just loved it.
I
She's like, and they're jealous of me, so I know.
I absolutely love it. And she threw in her classic Mama D line, I don't give a rip. Like that is just I want that on her
Branding.
shirt. I don't give a rip. But Tiffany goes over to Carrie's house and I didn't realize like Carrie was like a regular like Eliza Doolittle over there. She's got a bird that climbs right under her finger, and I was like honestly jealous.
Yeah,
She goes
Chico.
outside. Yeah, Kiko, she's got a dog running around. She has a rabbit. She's like, "Oh, my bunny's somewhere out here." I'm like, "Ma'am, like that's my dream life. Like I want all
Yeah.
of these."
Living in
Like,
this mansion with like animals running around.
yes,
Amazing.
husband's nowhere to be seen. Even better. Like let's just go here with these animals.
And
Lay
later
by
she
the
says,
pool.
she wakes up at 10, has her coffee at 10:30. She chills out all day. And I was like, girl, now you're living
Goals.
the life. Like
Goals.
this
And I
is the
love that
life
Tiffany
that
was like,
Tiffany's
I'm on my second surgery by that point, like
yeah,
10 a.m. Like
exactly.
I've already like put two people to sleep and woken them back up by that point. But Tiffany was over there drinking some Verve Cliquet rosé. They're
Loved it.
chatting. And I just feel like this was exactly why Tiffany left early. Okay. Because she sits down, Carrie's like, I just think it was rude that you left, and blah, blah, blah. Starts piling on her. And then, like, ma'am, this is literally why she left. And Tiffany even says, she's
Mhm.
like, I just didn't want to deal with it the next day. Like, because she hasn't been able to do anything right with these ladies. And it's a crock of bullshit because
Yeah.
she's been fabulous, really. But I just love that she was like, I'm not good with my emotions. Like, I don't want to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And Carrie on the flip side is like too passionate and too emotional. They're like, we just need to get in a blender and like mix it up and teach each other some things.
Yeah, I mean, it's more just you have to like recognize other people's like, I guess hesitations, and in Carrie's sense, like no hesitations. So like you
Right.
kind of just have to like you don't have to meet in the middle because that's like asking a lot, but you have to just kind of like
Right.
work with each other. It's like, hey, maybe she's not comfortable about talking about it right now, but maybe like later she will, and I'll give her that time. But it's also
Exactly.
just kind of like there's ways to go about it, which a lot of housewives aren't good at, and Carrie wasn't good at in this moment. It's like she could have had her over and been like, "Girl, why didn't you just like tell me you were leaving? Like you could have just told me. I would have gave you a hug. I would have said thank you. Like I totally get it. Just next time, come to me. Let me know. Like all is
Exactly.
good, but just like next time, let me know.
Don't
Like
start bulldozing her the second she sits
yes,
down and
it's
start
like
piling on and make it worse.
you can get your point across without making her feel again alienated from the group. And it just went
Exactly.
back to that. And I don't know if Stephanie said this before or she says it coming up, but she kind of was like thinking back on it. And she was talking to someone and was like, if you think about this weekend or this past weekend, every single day, someone was coming at Tiffany for something. It
That
had
was
to
at
have
the
been
beginning of the
overwhelming. Was that at
episode.
the
That's when they
beginning?
were sitting outside whenever after like she jumped in the lake and like they'd gone in and tried to hug her and stuff. Yeah, I meant to point that out too. That it's such a good point that she made. Like we've all like she was like it was me the first day, then Cam got involved, Carrie, and really everyone but Deandra had like
That's like no wonder she felt isolated and like,
Ganged up on,
you know,
attacked.
getting
Like, really, 'cause that's
all
what
of
they've
the
been
above.
doing.
Yeah, and it's like I appreciated Stephanie because Stephanie a few times has said like, "This is wrong, Brandy's wrong, we are wrong," but I don't feel like she said that to Tiffany, and that's what like I'm like bothered by. It's like
Well,
you're
she's
thinking the right
victimizing
thing.
herself. Brandy has victimized herself throughout
No,
all
no,
of
I'm
this.
talking about Stephanie. It's like
Oh,
Stephanie,
sorry,
like,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Stephanie recognized like I said something, everyone said something. Brandy's making it about Tiffany when it's really about herself. Like Stephanie said all of this to either
right.
people or in her confessionals. I was like, I appreciate you being able to like recognize that, but you should have said it to Tiffany
Well, and she
or
also
something.
needs to say it to Brandy. She needs to, if she's a really good friend to Brandy, which they're like best friends, the best thing she could do is to completely hold her accountable. And she's like, you need to stop victimizing yourself whenever it comes to Tiffany. Like, you need to admit that you
Yeah.
were the one that has all these issues. And I think
And
that would be a big step.
yeah, and sometimes she starts to, but never like goes fully into it. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that she said this outside of the cameras because like she's kind of mentioned it to her a few times, never really gotten into it,
Right.
which she should have. So I'm hoping,
Right.
as you say, that she's a good enough friend to be like, hey, you gotta stop making it about her when it's all about you. Like you're, I don't even know. It's really making it about Brandy because it's nothing to do with Tiffany. I
No,
don't
what
know.
you're saying makes sense.
You know
No,
what
it
I mean?
totally makes
Okay.
sense. It's like you're like putting it out on her when it's really all about you.
Yeah.
It's like
Or
your
it's like
inner like demons coming out onto her whenever it's really inside of you.
gotta
No, it
deal with
totally
your
makes
own
sense.
shit.
I
But
mean, the best part of this episode to me, we just gotta get to. Guys, Darren the shaman is also Stephanie's hairdresser. I just about fell out of my chair whenever that was said. I was like, and you know what? Now that I think about it, Darren has great hair. So it kind of makes sense to me. He has beautiful, long, luscious locks.
yeah, and
Shocking.
I screamed. I was like, "What the is this connection? How is that even happening? What is making sense? Or this doesn't make any sense?" And I think they cut to him like showing Deandra like a clip of him singing, and she's like, "What does this mean?" He's like, "Oh, I'll get back to you on that." I was like, "Okay, girl, you don't even know
And
you're
he pulls
singing."
up the lyrics.
Oh,
He was
pull
like,
it. Okay,
hold on,
good.
I can tell you exactly what it means. As he's scrolling through his phone, he's like, it means the inner peace. I'm like, girl, how did you not know that? That was literally the
I was
song
like,
that you wrote and
I was gonna say
chanted
you
or
were just
whatever.
showing it off, and you don't even know what it means. I
Honestly,
laughed so hard.
one of my favorite things, and power to him, he is scamming all of these women out of lots of money. He is Joanne the scammer on another level. Like, you go, Darren, and get that money. You do what you need to do because I'm not gonna fault you for it.
Girl, and extensions aren't cheap. So he's getting the
Oh,
extension money and the shaman money.
did you love the side by side when it said Darren the hairdresser and Darren the shaman, and it was like posting these little side by sides? I was like, this is so shady and so
And
amazing.
I loved like as the girls are showing up, like each one of them kind of finds out that Darren is also Stephanie's ex extension giver or doer or whatever. And they're
Every
all like,
person's reaction was basically what our reaction was like. Uh, uh. I think Tiffany said, "Can I get the 2-for-1 special? Like, can you cleanse my energy while you like cleanse my hair? Like, what are we
or
gonna do to make
20%
this happen?
off
20% off. I'm even like, I
for the
will double
package.
up. Iconic.
It was
Like,
just so
the
funny.
plot twist I didn't know I needed in life. Like, that is just the best thing ever.
It's just
And we
like
don't even get to see his medicine Monday because the episode ends and we're gonna get to see it next
yeah,
time.
it ends with
So
Brandy saying, "I want to talk to Tiffany alone," and right
like,
into our
leave
to be
Tiffany
continued.
alone. I want to scream like Chris Crocker with like Chris Crockett.
Leave
Chris
Brittany
Crocker.
alone. Yeah.
Leave Brittany alone. I want to scream, leave Tiffany alone. Let her have one freaking good night out. Hang out with the girls without being freaking pulled to the side or like attacked or like
Yeah.
just like let her have a good time.
You know, he
Please.
became a porn star.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Like
Chris
porn
Crocker.
porn or like OnlyFans?
I think porn.
Really?
Yeah,
Sorry,
what
I'm
an
laughing at
interesting
the word
turn.
porn. I didn't realize how funny it was until you said it back to
Yeah, it was
me.
just what an interesting turn. It's like Leave Brittany Alone was such like an iconic internet culture thing back in early days of like
YouTube.
internet, YouTube,
That was like the
Tumblr,
OG
all of the
YouTube.
above. And then he was porn star. So you know,
Good for you, Chris. Also, hey, from Leave Britney Alone to porn, kind of like with Darren doing hair and becoming a shaman, growth.
I was gonna
We're all
say,
about
your
growth.
life takes different directions and you just gotta embrace them and go with it.
100%. Well, I think that's all of Dallas for this week, and I'm looking forward to see Medicine Monday next week to see how it goes down.
I hope he cleanses my soul
I
and
hope he
gets me a nice hairdo.
cleanses your soul and your whole. On that note, good talking to you.
Cheers to that. Bye, guys.